Hello folks, welcome back. So far we have set up our Git repositories on our GitHub account. Now developers start developing their code. As part of the development process, developer 1 is planning to write the home page. Now I have segregated the code which I have shown you in the previous lecture. What kind of code a developer 1 can add. Okay, let me go and show you. So this is the Java projects account, and here we have cloned our repository, right? That is taxi booking. And you can see there is a folder called project code. I have just segregated what kind of code as a developer one should add, and I kept it under this location. We just need to copy it and copy it into the taxi booking. Instead of developing the code, I'm using the easiest way. Okay, readme file is copied, so I'm skipping this file. Now what I have done, I have copied the code what I need to add as a developer one. If you do remember, as a developer one, I need to write the home page code. If I go inside to web app, src main, okay, web app. Here I need to update my code. You can see here the index.jsp, this is not required. Okay, so this is the code I have written. Let me open with notepad. Okay, so this is the code I have written. Let's assume that I have written and I have done comments. Okay, everything looks good. This code I need to push it into my remote repository as a developer one. So let's go back over here, and if I see ls now I have multiple files, and git status, if I check, I have few files, and git log still only one commit because we haven't committed these changes. Git push, sorry, git add dot git commit -m added home page, sorry, home page code. Okay, so this is the first commit I am doing, and a lot of files got added. And git status, if I check, one commit is there, and git log, we have added one commit in our local repository. Now git push, sorry, git push origin master, sorry, not master, we need to give dev. Why? Because this is the dev branch, right? We don't have any branch called master, so we need to give git push origin dev. And before pushing it, if I go and check it out, still you cannot able to see any code over here. All right, sorry, not this one. Now I'm pushing my changes onto remote repository. Even though it is a private, it won't ask for any credentials. Why? Because my SSH keys are already added to remote account. That's it, my code has been updated over here, and if I refresh it over here, okay, you can see the code over here. Now everything is fine, but as a developer one, I have pushed my code. I don't know whether this code is working or not. I need to test it, right? Once I have tested, if it is working, then only I can go to the next level. Nothing but I can update the same code onto UAT, from UAT to prod, right? That is where the DevOps process comes into the picture. So now what we need to do as a DevOps engineer, I need to take this code, build, and I should deploy it in one application server, so that my testing team or my development team go and check it out whether it is working fine or not. If it is working, then they go for the approval and they push this code onto the UAT environment. So for that, I need to set up a dev environment, right? That I have already done. If you see here, we have three more systems, that is Tomcat dev, Tomcat prod, and Tomcat UAT. The code which is there in the dev branch, I'm going to deploy it over here. It is kind of test system. Once it is deployed over here, the code may or may not work. It's not a problem. But before deploying on UAT and prod, I should make sure that the code is working properly. So as a test point, what I can do, I can build it and deploy it on a dev system. For that, we need to build the code, then only we can deploy it. Build nothing but compilation of the code, because application systems cannot understand the source code, so we need to compile it. Who can compile the code and who can deploy it? That is where Jenkins comes into the picture. So with the Jenkins, we are going to compile that code and deploy it on a dev system. So let's go to our Jenkins system. Okay, I'm logging into my Jenkins system. If you don't know how to set up Jenkins system and Tomcat system, don't worry, because if you have enrolled to my complete DevOps course, you are going to see all this stuff. Otherwise, ignore these steps, because we are focusing how a Git works as the DevOps point of view. So just try to understand the concept. Okay, this is my Jenkins console. I have already one job. We are going to create a new job that is for dev environment. So what I can do, taxi booking underscore dev. Okay, because we are using dev branch code over here. That is the reason I'm giving taxi booking dev, and it is a Maven project. Okay, next, where is your code is located? It is available in the Git, right? In the Git, what is the URL of your code? So I need to go here and get the URL, and I should get HTTPS link, not the Git SSH link. Why? Because it can understand only HTTPS. And the next thing, you can see here, it is failed to connect this repository. Why? Because it is a private repository. For the private repository, we should provide the credentials. I have already added my credentials over here. So I just loaded credentials. Now you cannot see that error. So next thing, on which branch this code is available? There is no branch called master, right? We have branch called dev. So in the dev branch, the code is available on this repository. Take that code and build it. So to build, we are going to use the Maven. For that, there are goals: clean, install, package. Okay, this all I have discussed in my other courses. Maybe you can check out those courses, it will help you. Okay, so I have given the goals to build our code. Next thing, we need to deploy it, but before deploying it, I will just run the code and we'll see whether build is successful or not. Let me build it. Okay, build is successful, and if I go and open this one, everything is fine. Okay, success, which means that build is successful. Next thing, I need to deploy this code onto Tomcat system, right? So go to configure. I need to update that on which Tomcat server I would like to deploy it. So post build actions and get var er. Here I need to provide the my var file name. Okay, that will be in the first build job, the path of the var file. So it is web app target web app.var. I'm taking this one. And container, here I need to provide Tomcat 8, that is our Tomcat server. And to deploy on Tomcat server, we need to provide credentials. I have already added these credentials. Next, URL of Tomcat. So what is the URL of your dev environment application server? So for that, I can just go here. This is my dev server, right? So let me go and access it on port number 8080. Why? Because, sorry, 8080. Why? Because Tomcat runs on port number 8080. Yes, you can see here, this is the default Tomcat landing page. Now I am going to use this URL. So what I'm saying to my Jenkins, that deploy the var file on this application server. While deploying, use these credentials. Apply and save. Now again build it. This time the deployment should happen on this system. Okay, some test cases are running, and you can see here deploying. Okay, deployment is successful, and I need to access this one with the web app. All right, you can see here now. Okay, this is the application which I have written as a developer one, and my role is, as per my manager, he said me that develop the home page or landing page. I have developed it. I think I have, it is working fine, but there are some bugs. If you see here, here you can see the images of the cars, but here you cannot see. That is one problem. And list of the cars. Okay, date, sorry, remaining all are fine. But if you come down to prices, you can see here, assume that it is a Indian related app, I need to keep it in rupees. So that also is a bug. So these kind of bugs are intimated to the developers from the testing team, or even developer come and check over here and he understand the problem and he continue to update. That is how the developers are going to do. Now assume that still there are some issues. Meantime, developer 2 also start developing his code and he want to add his services. So developer 2 is responsible to add services page over here. And let's go to developer 2 system. So this is developer 2 system. So he is going to add services page. But before adding his code, he has to pull the code, right? Why? Because now there are few updates. If you see here, git log. Okay, still we have one commit, but whereas in the remote repository we have two commits, right? So I can do git pull origin dev. Okay, because it is a dev branch, not master, or else I can just do git pull. Why? Because by default it is talking with the dev branch only, so it is going to pull the code from the dev branch. All right, we have pulled all the code from the dev branch, and I need to update my code under web app src main. Again web app, here I need to update my code. So now what I will do, I'm going to update my services application. So the services code I need to write, instead of writing, I have the services page over here. I will just copy that one. Okay, so services, open with notepad. Okay, let me copy this code onto my developer2 system. Just assume that he has written the services.html code, and I'm just copying it over here. Now I have copied my services application, sorry, services page over here, and git status. If I check, one file is there. Now git add dot git commit -m added services info, and git push origin master. Okay, so for in the remote repository we have only two commits. Okay, two commits, and now we are going to do the another commit. Oops, sorry, we need to give the git push origin dev, right? There is no branch called master. All right, so we are pushing our changes. Anyway, it won't ask for credentials, and if I go and check, this time it should be three commits, and we could able to see services page as well. Okay, services page is there. Now I can say that developer2 has pushed his code onto remote repository. Now I need to build it again, right? Why? Because now code has been updated. I need to make sure that here the services page also is displaying. Let me try to do that one. I'm building it. Nothing to do. I just need to build it. Within 2 minutes, I can tell whether developer2 has pushed working code or not. If build is failed, nothing to do. I can tell to developer that okay, the code is not working. If build is successful, still I could not able to see the options over here. Still I can say that there is some problem with the code. Okay, so build is successful. Let me refresh it. Okay, you can see here still you could not able to see the services page, which means that there is some problem with the code. Now I asked developer2 to check in the code and make sure that that page is available. I know the problem, so I'm going to quickly fix it. Okay, this is just I have hided that option. And also one more thing I need to do, services.html on services.html. Okay, I have updated this code to make it work with the services, and git status, if I check, git add dot git commit -m fixed services page bug. Okay, so there was a bug, I have fixed it, and git push origin dev. Okay, we have committed our new changes onto the remote repository. Once this is done, again I need to build my code, so I'm doing one more build. Okay, build is successful. Now let me go and refresh it, because on same system we are deploying every time. This time we could see services page. Okay, great. So which means that services page is working fine, means developer2 code also successful. Now what I can say, now I will go and ask my project manager that if you are fine to release this home page and services page onto the UAT environment, we can able to do, because these two are working fine. That is what we say, and let's assume that your manager has agreed to deploy this on the UAT environment. How we can update our code onto UAT environment and how we can push, that we are going to see in the next lecture. Thanks for watching and see you there.